Hello, hello, Lisa. Hello. Yeah.
Hi,
Hi, how's it going?
how are you?
Good, good. So I wanted to ask, can you actually, I'm so glad you're here early. Can you actually see my slideshow?
I can see it. It's beautiful. It's
Awesome,
beautiful.
awesome.
And
Okay.
I'm looking like I have like a little pot leaf in the corner. See my little right
Oh, can't even tell.
like my shoulder on it just in case anyone that comes.
That's okay. And actually, it's being recorded, but I can cut this out.
Oh,
Um,
oh.
what I'm trying to do though is I want to be able to when I'm actually doing when everyone's here. And I don't even know, there's supposed to be like 14 people, but with lunch and learns, you never know. Sometimes people just can't make it out. So I'm recording it just so that we can actually put it up and on the online and all that good stuff in case people
Oh,
missed it. But what
okay.
I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find me. Like, how do I show just me?
I think if you click, let me see if
Oh,
see
I
the
turn myself, right?
yes, and there's like a little box up and
Okay. Okay. Yep. Because I don't like, I want, when I'm doing the actual discussion and I'm, trying to use this, what happens is all the pictures get in the way. So you can only see part of my presentation. And so if I actually like pin myself, then it'll just be me, I believe.
so I'm noticing, I don't know if you have like a little box that shows both of our faces
Yep.
with the, and if you go to the top, there's different options for how you want it to look.
Yep.
You can make it like just one or horizontal, two.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And it says show active speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, can you see everyone or no?
If I, so I just hit a button that now I just see you, but I could hit the one next to it. It's like a skinny rectangle and then a thicker
Yep.
rectangle and two rectangles on top of it. So if I click the two rectangles, I can see me, but if I just hit the one thicker one, I'm like so scientific over here.
Yeah. I was like, when I saw it was you, I'm like, yes, it's Lisa. She can help me with these little technical
I
difficulties.
think I'm helping. I'm not sure though.
You really are. It's just letting me actually hear myself think. So if I do show active speaker, but actually what I can do is I'm going to try it. I'm going to pin myself.
And you can move your box around the screen, like maybe in the lower left-hand corner, there's more room to
Oh,
have your face
yes.
instead of
Yeah.
block the top right.
That's a good point. I think maybe, well, some of them are and some of them aren't. So what I'll probably end up doing is
And you
I'll
know what? You
probably,
can put your face in and out while you're speaking too. You can
oh,
like move your box away if there's something on the screen that
yep,
needs.
hide thumbnail video, it
Yeah.
says.
Yeah.
Oh, good thinking. Okay, good thinking. Boy, I'm learning so much from you.
I don't even, I'm just like, I'm just here. I'm like trying to cover any like, but I think that's okay if I'm just in the shop.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, it's 12:05, so I don't know if anyone else is coming.
Okay.
But I'm gonna get it started. So what I'm gonna do is, if you don't mind just muting yourself,
Yeah.
I'll go through the whole thing because I'm recording it. So if you're okay with that,
Absolutely. Yes. I'm
okay.
I'm here to take it all in and because I'm
Okay.
excited that I can because I saw the date and I was like, oh, Tuesday, I want to make sure I can be there. So
Right,
okay.
exactly.
I'm
Okay.
I'm excited.
Thank you.
No
All
problem.
all right, we'll be recording.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right. So, hello and welcome to the first of 4 in the Lunch and Learn series for March. Today is all about fundamental mastery and logical you. So, I'm going to be recording this. So, anybody who's uncomfortable with that, if you could just, maybe put your video off or whatever you're comfortable doing, that is fine with me. It'll be on different forms of social media as well as my website. So, feel free to hide your video, whatever it is that you feel comfortable doing. So today we are talking about fundamental mastery, and it is a unique transformative process for organizations, institutions, and individuals. And it really ranges from kiddos who are, probably third grade. And I think my oldest was 82 or 84 years old. I can't remember. So it really, it has a whole range of ages and different types of situations and institutions and all of that. So we're going to move on and talk about today's agenda. Who is Donna Tam in DTAS? What is fundamental mastery and what was its catalyst? And then the WIFM, or actually the WIFE, which is what's in it for me or what's in it for you, and then next steps. So first, let's begin with this. Reflect on a stubborn issue or a recurring obstacle that you are or someone you know is currently experiencing. And the first thing that comes to your mind, just go with that. Approximately how long has this been an issue or a problem? Have all known strategies been employed and yet it's still an issue? And could those strategies be your default or your go-to problem-solving techniques? Because we all have that. We all have that issue where we know what we do and this is how we do it. And when something comes into play, we go into play with our default patterns. So I want you to keep this stubborn issue or this recurring obstacle in mind as we go through the rest of it today. All right. So who is Donna Tam? I am an educator turned business owner. In 2021, I celebrated 2 decades of helping others through alternative therapies. And in 2024, I will be celebrating 2 decades of helping others through alternative solutions through my business when it opened the doors in 2004. I am a published author of a personal memoir about my childhood abuse and also a contributing author for a compilation series. And I'm the founder of 2 programs that are now offered as revenue building certification and licensing opportunities for you and others. So really excited about that. You'll learn about one of them today, the fundamental mastery. So what is it? Honestly, it is a very firm framework consisting of 7 steps and 2 additional components. And that's what gives it the foundation. But it also is a framework that allows for flexibility. So if you are looking for things that are going to fit your life, things that are going to be tailored solutions for you, this is a really nice way to do it. The program really dovetails well with that. So what was the FM's catalyst? For me, a catalyst is anything that sets into motion something different than the status quo, and it allows something new to come into play. And so my catalyst was, it was a holiday weekend. I was exhausted. I felt like I was overworking. And so I did a last minute rejuvenating weekend away. And that led to this. As I was going away, I thought last minute, I probably should have my ex-husband check on the cat while I'm gone. And so he said, yep, no problem. So I left on a Friday afternoon and I left my home. These are just 2 pictures of my kitchen, and the rest of the home is when I do the whole licensing and certification, you get the whole story, but kind of narrowing it down for today. And so when I left, this is what it was like. And I think I returned probably 36 hours later. And I think it was probably within less than 24 hours. This is what transpired. There was actually a leak in the upstairs toilet. And what happened was all 3 floors needed to be gutted right down to the studs and rebuilt. And what happened was at the time, my business was also in my home. So it created a real issue. And then they said to me when they came in, I mean, recess lights were hanging. There was just so much to it. It was really unsafe. And so what happened was we could only take, they said, what we would need for daily living for the next 4 months. And I said 4 months or 4 weeks. And it was 4 months. So there's again, a much longer story to this, but it actually led to this SASSY process. And the SASSY process is really one of the foundations of fundamental mastery. And fundamental mastery is that 7-step process with 2 additional components. And we'll talk more about those later. So self-reflection, it really is about us really digging in deep to where you're at right now and some of the issues that you're having, and really seeing what you've done, reviewing where you want to go. And we're hoping to gain awareness with that. And we have a couple of exercises that we do in order to get there, including what's called a pause for 2 exercise, which is really, really what gets to the core of the issue. From there, once we have a better idea of what we're looking at, what we're dealing with, we go into the alignment and we align our actions. So we want to be sure that whatever it is that we want to attain, maximize potential or attain a goal, we want to create the actions that align with it. And of course, when you create any new actions, because what you've done probably hasn't been working thus far, you automatically have your default methods that you go back to. So we need to create support for you. And so we identify different ways of support. And even those who are like, I like to do things on my own, there are other ways. We can do people, yes, but we can also do practices and places and schedules and routines and all of that good stuff. After we've got that in place, we look for signs and signals. Is it going well? Is it not going well? Do we need to pivot? Is it different than what we thought, but we're liking it? And that's when we evaluate. And we don't save evaluation for just the end. We have evaluative checkpoints along the way. We have target dates that we put in with our action plan. And so that is where you can really see how's it going. And you can redirect at that point as needed. The SASSY process can also be non-cyclical. So we can go between steps. We don't have to go around and then get back to self-reflection and then stay in that same pattern. What we decide is we get to each step. And as we get there, we're always evaluating. We're always becoming aware. And I've seen where people have been in the past, they have been at the point of alignment and they're choosing their actions. And every action that they come up with, when they're honest with themselves, they're like, I really don't want to do that one. And then we come up with another action and, well, I really don't want to do that. And by the time we get to the 3rd or 4th action that they don't want to implement, we know we've got to go back to self-reflection because there's something off. And so it can be a non-cyclical process as well. The 2 additional key components that I think are so, so important with them are 1, the targeted area of priority. And what we do with that is a lot of times people will come in and they'll say, everything's a mess. My whole life is a mess, or my whole business is a mess, or whatever it may be that they're coming in for. And so what we do is we identify a TAP, a targeted area of priority, and we do that with some type of a balance wheel. And this is an example of the business balance wheel. So we create all these sectors, and this is nothing new. You've probably seen something like this before. And we put in the concepts for business that are probably seen most, or for the life, the life balance wheel, those parts of your life that are probably important to you. And I also have one for a nutrition balance wheel. So whenever somebody's coming in with some weight issues or some health issues, we can look at that as well. So it's really a versatile piece that we can use. But what we do is we look at your not success in each area, but your level of satisfaction. And once you do that, you put a little shading in on each sector. And then once we do that, we can look and say, okay, where is it that you're least satisfied? And even though there might be 4 or 5 areas that look like their least satisfaction, we oftentimes can look and see and say, can you see how this is related to that? And this is related to that? And they can. So by working on just one targeted area of priority, we can really start to shift a lot of other sectors in their life. So that's the targeted area priority. And once we know that, then we can go into creating a goal or an intended outcome. And that piece is really important because that is what we're going to build on. So we want to get it right. And we use the 5-point maximizing potential rubric. And it's really creating that quality goal. And I love using this rubric because what happens is people will often put what they think their goal is. Then we use the 5-point rubric. And oftentimes their final goal is so much more of a quality goal. It has so much more information that will remind them exactly why they're doing what they're doing when times do get a little bit difficult when we move on. So another important piece of it. Now, fundamental mastery, it supports you in various ways. So what's in it for you? These are just examples, and you can sort of range it from individual to professional to groups, personal stuff, but it is for any institution. As we talked about, we've got kids from 3rd grade up to my 82 or 84-year-old, and it can affect change. It's a process that can really make a difference. It can empower your managers and create initiatives for them to also raise morale, and sources of inspiration, which are really important, because sometimes, even if it's just your personal inspiration, if you're not inspired, you're not motivated, and you're not going to be able to make that change. It's unique solutions. And when we say for collaboration and cohesiveness, but we can take those 2 words out and put whatever it is that you're looking to maximize or you're looking to attain. There's assessment of and rectification of issues. And again, I use productivity and profitability for that business sector, but you could take those 2 words out and add something else in. And we go through that in the first steps when we first start working together. And then there's much more that's regarding tailored solutions for your unique challenges. So beyond the steps, so what we have is we have the steps, we have the 2 additional components, and we know why it might be a good option for you. But I also want you to see that there's a lot more to it than just going through those pieces. And we get beyond the steps because we look at, how is adversity viewed by you? Do you look at things that maybe seem to go wrong as a lesson or a lesion? And those 2 words are really close together. They're differed by 1 letter, but it's really a different outcome. If you choose to view it as a lesson, that is an opportunity for growth. And if you view it as a lesion, that could possibly bring on more of a wound, more bitterness, more stagnation. So we look at that, and there's no judgment. We just look at how you're viewing it, and we bring it into awareness so you can change it or you can keep it. The other piece that we need to look at is, what ripples are you creating? So your actions create a ripple, because when you, whether you're aware of it or not, you do an action, it impacts other people or situations. And once it hits them, reactions come back to you. And so, take a moment. Sometimes it's not just your actions, it's who you are as a person. It's what you think. It creates an energy within you. It's how you perceive the world. And so your essence is speaking sometimes louder than your actions. So what signal are your actions, or is your essence, sending? We look at that because it's so empowering to make a difference in your world. Beyond the steps, again, we do more. We look at how you approach different people, different situations, different issues and problems. So, one of them, the pure approach, and you can see now that I love acronyms. So the pure approach is really about coming from a place of power. And it's about, understanding the whole piece. And it's really about, being responsible and empowering. Versus if you are coming from a face approach, you're looking more at things from a fearful base. It's an all or nothing kind of thing, instead of just understanding what really is going on. It's like, it's either this or it's this. You're trying to control things. And in the process, sometimes that enables things that you really don't want to see. So we look at how you interact, and then we provide strategies for redirection if it's desired or needed. Finally, raising more self-awareness. And again, there's so much more to this, but I just wanted to kind of hit upon in these 30 minutes, the fundamental mastery alignment assessment. Very, very simple assessment, but it is powerful with the results, because what it does is it allows you to really become aware of who you are, so that we don't fit you in a box and you don't have to stay there forever, but we've got to give you a jumping off point based on your strengths. And then we can shift over later. But if you're coming to a fundamental mastery session, you're already struggling with something. So let's set you up for success first. And what I find with this is that when people take this, and it helps you, know how to attain and retain information, your best work environments, as well as how you best can be evaluated. And a lot of times what happens is when people are setting up their action plans, they're choosing actions that really aren't aligned with what they've learned from the alignment assessment. So we go back and we look at it and we say, somebody will say, well, to evaluate how it went throughout the day, I will journal different things that went well and different things that I need to focus on to maybe change. And then I say to them, well, that's a great thing, but you are oral expressive, not written expressive. Are you going to feel like you really want to do that? And they say, oh, that's right. How about we get your phone at the end of the day and you journal by orally speaking into your voice record? And that will allow them to sort of, keep that success, and in a way that they are comfortable doing it. The other piece, though, that I want to say is we don't keep you there. If that's where we start, maybe later what you do is you take all of those voice records and you have them transcribed into a white paper or whatever it may be. So we find ways to help out with whatever it is that you're doing. If you want to write a book, we take that and we transcribe it into a book. So lots of different things we can do. So why would fundamental mastery be an exceptional choice for you? Here's the thing. You have the intelligence and the potential. If you've come to where you are in your life, you have something in your tank. You know how to do it, and you've done it well. You just hit a stumbling block. What I have with the Fundamental Mastery Program is the proven 7-step process for maximizing your potential. So I don't pretend to know anything about your life or your industry, but what I do know is the 7-step process, and I know how to implement it. It is based on knowledge from years of teaching education experience. And what happened was when I first began, I was sort of thrown into this, this classroom that was a multi-age classroom. So my first year of teaching, I had to figure out, I had first and second graders, and they were all at different levels. And so I really had to figure out, where they were at and where I needed to take them and how long they needed. So I had to tailor very different plans and solutions and whatever was going to help them. And then we grew and we went into 1 to 3 and 1 to 4 and eventually 1 to 6. And that's quite a spread. So it was so great that I had that, because now I can implement that state of knowledge and what I know how to do with anyone who is coming in. It is a logical and intuitive approach to problem solving, because again, it tailors those solutions to you, allows you to maximize your potential, and gives you the success for attainment of what you're looking for. And as we just talked about, the alignment assessment really helps you to understand you. And it also, as we talked about, provides a solid foundation and flexible solutions. So what FM does is it helps you check a box. What FM does not do is it does not ask you to fit in a box. And I think it is so important. And what has been happening to us over these past few years is that the box is even different. So we really look at you. There are different opportunities for professional program training and opportunities and growth. It's not on here, but what you can do is you can buy a package and go with someone who is a certified FM coach or a certified licensed trainer, FM trainer, and they will work with you on whatever it is that you are struggling with or dealing with. if you are an actual certified coach for fundamental mastery, now you can begin to bring this knowledge of information to your clients, your patients, your members, whatever it is that you do. And they say create a niche, right? Well, you all have your niches, and this fundamental mastery really encompasses a lot of them. So you can take this into what you're already doing well. Then, if you wanted to become a licensed trainer, during that process, you automatically get certified. So you would be able to do what a coach is doing. And then you would also be able to go into any professionals and any of those sectors and say to them, listen, I am licensed. So I can certify you to do this with your patients, clients, whatever it may be, members, or I can license you. So now as a licensed fundamental mastery trainer, you not only can certify people, you can also license them. So there's a lot of revenue building that you can do with these two, either the coaching or the licensing trainer. So if you go to Donna Tem Alternative Solutions, you'll see in the navigation bar, build revenue, and click on that, because there's so much more I could tell you, and there's so much more included in all of this. But if you're not interested, I certainly, don't want to push that on you. So if you are interested, can either contact me or go to my website, and there's more information about that. So I'm not going to go through a whole lot of this in depth with you, but I just want to let you know what you can do with either the certification or the licensing. You can go to sole proprietors, you can go to small businesses and large corporations, and you can say, listen, I can do executive coaching. I can do manager workshops. I can do one-on-one with manager coaching. So there's a lot of different types of things that you can do with this. You can go to public and private school systems, higher education, and you can really work with their faculty, starting from administrative coaching and going all the way down to the teachers and the teacher workshops, and really providing them with, something that they can either use for their own goals with their educational goals with students, but their own goals as a staff member, and that has to do it every year. And so this is a great way to use that and to train others. You can also do it, as we talked about, just with personal and professional, long or short-term goals with people of all ages. So if you just have somebody coming in and purchasing a package and saying, here's where I am, here's where I want to be, this is something that you can also do with them. It's an individual goal setting, mentoring, and you just walk through the process that you learn in either the certification or the licensing. So a few more thoughts. Research says that individuals fall either into the 10% or the 90%. Now, the 10% will be those who will take the steps to implement the information, and the 90% will kind of set it aside, maybe retain some of the information, but do nothing with it. And in order to go forward with something, you have to just pick an action, and you have to commit to it. The next thing that I love, all these little things that kind of keep my brain thinking. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. That's pretty much self-explanatory. It's never too late to be what you might have become. And so don't ever let that be a thought for you, because if you talk to my 82 or my 84-year-old, she's probably 84 by now, but if you talk to her, she's going to tell you at 82, she wasn't too old. When the pain of the current situation outweighs the pain of change, that's when true change can occur. And I think that happens with a lot of us, myself included. If I can stay in status quo, not the best, not the worst, I may just do that. But when the current situation is like, I can't take it anymore, this is too much, it's beyond me, I don't want to deal with this one more minute, that's when you can really say, okay, let's make some changes. And this last one, it's so there's so much truth to it, and it's so simple, but sometimes we just don't see it. If the tracks lead to the last place and the train is on the tracks, where will the train go? There can only be one answer. It just goes to the same place where you've been going. So you either need to find in the train, you need to get off that track and find a different track. So here is what is happening. These are training opportunities, everything you can find right on my website. please, please stay connected with me. If you love this and you want to learn more, please schedule a meeting with me. My Calendly information is on my website as well as on my LinkedIn. So feel free to click on that. Feel free to email me. You can go and sign up for my newsletter, donatem.com. There's also a contact there. You can contact me there. Connect with me on Facebook. It's under DTAS. And you can see the little logo at the bottom, and also, of course, on LinkedIn. So for today, that is it. But next week in the series is going to be focusing on YOA Says Abuse Awareness for Empowerment. Now, YOA Says is, again, another acronym, and it stands for You're Only as Sick as Your Secrets. And that is basically, that's the name of my personal memoir and my story of abuse. So I have now come into a line of resources that are helping people. So if you are someone who has been impacted in any way by abuse trauma, if it has been you personally, if it has been someone you love who has been, if it's someone that you work with, if it's someone that you don't really know, but you have some suspicions, or if you just want to be a voice and you want to know more so that you can, if you're a grandparent or a parent or, any of that, a teacher or anything, you can actually just become empowered just by the awareness and the knowledge so that you can prevent and intervene. So that is going to be next Tuesday, the 14th. I'm looking forward to that as well. But before I let you go, I do want to do some Q&As because I think we do have some time left. I'm doing pretty well. 4 minutes left. All right. But before we do the Q&As, I just want to, because some of you are going to have to leave, and that's fine. I understand it's in the middle of your day and life is busy. But as a gift, as a thank you for attending, go to donatem.com homepage. And in the know, when you scroll down on the homepage, you're going to see in the know, and there'll be, I think, 3 little sections, and you can see it here. And the second one is I received the code to access my life balance wheel. And then you'll click on that little down arrow that's now up here, and it says click here to access the password protected tab. What you're going to do is click there, and it'll bring you to a page, and it'll ask you to enter the code. And you enter targeted tab. So uppercase T for targeted tap, all the rest lowercase. And what that will do, I added more there. So you'll not only get the life balance wheel, you'll get the business balance wheel, and you'll get the nutrition balance wheel. So that is a thank you for attending. And I so appreciate your time and your interest. And I hope to see you next week. The following week will be Donatem Energy Balancing Method, which looks at helping people overcome obstacles from more of an energetic viewpoint. That does have a lot of science behind it. And then the last week, March 28th, I believe, is going to actually be a Q&A. So if you've got all this information, you're like, I don't know which way to go, that would be a great one to attend. So I am going to open it up now to any questions that may be out there. And if so, just give me a signal or a sign and I will call on you. And if not, then I will send you off on your way back to having a great day and enjoying. And like I said, please reach out. Please go get your things on your homepage. And thank you again. How'd it go?
That was wonderful.